Time to clean some Volks.
Or something.
Or something.
We're actually going to disassemble the Volks.
Yeah. So today we, you know, you should have seen in another video, we just got these Volk GT-Cs. The reasoning behind it was that the new Volk 21C is pretty awesome, and I think that the GT-Cs are going to come back into style. I actually think, and I haven't talked to you about this yet, I think that a lot of the Volk GT wheels are about to come back in style.
I hope so.
Because there's kind of like a resurgence of like the Need for Speed Underground 2 type styling.
That is actually pretty true. But kind of like mixed with a little bit like less kind of racer body kit, kind of less invader and weird stuff.
It's gonna. I feel like it's gonna be like the Volk GT wheels, but more like aggressive time attack type stuff. If not like clean JDM bodywork instead of like just loud and all that.
It'll still be loud like color wise.
Yeah.
But it'll be like legit parts.
Yeah.
So.
And not to say that the GT wheels weren't always like on clean cars. It's just it's gonna be. I think it's gonna come back in that way.
I think those are definitely a little forgotten about, along with the SF challenges.
Absolutely. And the SF challenges are so awesome. So
really cool.
We have our wheels today. We're going to be taking them apart. They are a two-piece design, so they're pretty straightforward as far as just unbolting the faces from the barrels, as opposed to like a three-piece where you have to worry about the seal and stuff like that. So we've got our tools. What have we got? Indeed.
So we have 6mm Allen socket to work on all the standard Volk bolts. Then we have the backside, which is a 10mm. And on this wheel in particular, someone assembled it with some T45s and a mix of the original Volk bolts. So we actually have.
So those are the T45s and those are the Volk bolts. You can see that nice black chrome.
Yeah, and we actually have the rest of the hardware for them. So we are going to disassemble them and put the correct hardware back in.
Yeah, we also have these like really obnoxiously long
valve stems. They're like 90mm, I think.
Yeah, so we got these ones off of Amazon. They're 65mm. So they'll fit more like this one right here.
The one.
The one.
Instead of just sticking way out there.
And that was $22 on Amazon. We'll put a link for that if anyone needs to find those or needs to replace their valve stems. They had pretty good reviews. We have yet to see, but we got to do all that anyway. So,
so we'll replace all of them.
Yeah.
And put all the stuff in.
All right.
I don't know what these are torqued to.
Too much.
Definitely too much.
There we go.
More than they should be.
So based on our research, the proper torque specs of these bolts should be
about 20. It was
22 foot-pounds.
It was 20 to 24. I would definitely want to go in the middle of that and say 22.
Yeah.
So
it's
that was a lot more.
Yeah, you can definitely snap your bolts if you over torque. So don't do that.
I did do that on a set of Advan SA3Rs I had. Okay, so they had different torque values.
Yeah, that one was definitely a lot looser.
Yeah, go ahead. All the Torx bolts are out.
Yeah, we got them all out. If you really don't want to have baller wheel hardware, I guess you can use these.
We wouldn't, just because, I mean, we have the original Volk hardware, so why would we?
Yeah, no, for sure.
So, one was a bit of a pain to get out. My fault. We fixed it. No big deal.
Yeah, it was. We didn't communicate properly on which one we were both on.
Communication is important.
Yeah, don't strip your bolts.
We got it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big deal. So we're going to take the remaining half of the original Volk hardware off this side, and then we'll get back to you once we're pulling the face off. Yep. Okay, we are on the last two here.
It's been a lot faster and easier with
proper
hardware.
Yeah, the correct stuff works a lot better than the not correct stuff. What a surprise. I'm on the bottom.
On.
Okay, so carefully, I'll hold it. I'm holding the face.
Okay.
Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and sit this back and go ahead and pull the face out. I got it?
You got it?
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
And there we go. So these faces.
I'm gonna take his face off.
I remember that movie. What was it?
Face off.
Was it? Okay, I can't remember what it was These were already redone, I think in root beer brown. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, it looks like a root beer brown.
It looks fantastic, honestly.
Really freaking nice.
It is really good. And we'll get a nice picture once these are cleaned up and not so dusty. I think it'll pop really well.
I almost wouldn't mind doing the barrels the same color, but I feel like the metallic bronze would look really cool too.
I think the kind of flat would be nice, you know, because it would kind of...
You think flat?
Flat bronze would be really cool. Regardless, right now what we have to do now is pull this valve stem.
Yeah, we gotta pull this valve stem off.
So, if you want to hand me...
Yeah,
go ahead and set that off to the side. I'll grab the valve stem out. So, this type of valve stem has an actual hex part. Should be the same 6 we've been using.
Same
So,
size.
hold the wheel, please. And... Okay, go ahead and hold the bottom part. And we'll just twist this off. And go ahead and pull through. You should be able to wiggle, and there we go. Okay, so now as you can see, we have the bolt, the washer.
Just put that all back together.
Well, exactly, that's what I'm gonna do. Just, there we go.
There's our, if you were reusing your valve stems, you know, put them back together.
So you should have some kind of hex pattern or something on the inside here to go ahead and take that off with, okay? All right, so we are gonna get to...
And the barrels are very light. I mean, everything is forged.
They're Volks, so of course they're...
Yeah. Look like a total...
This guy's a man who put a wheel up to his face and smiles.
He's a dragon man. Tractor! Okay, so wheels, the faces are all off the barrels. Very simply, we're gonna use some wheel cleaner and a brush to kind of do a preliminary clean, and then we'll hit these with some aluminum polish.
Yep. So we're gonna put this on here. Yep. Start spraying some water, start spraying some cleaner. Yep. So I'll grab right now. I was like, I can do this now.
Yeah, do that. I love the smell of that tire cleaner.
Yeah, pretty good, right?
Yeah. This is an A face. So you're looking at like slightly concave, but not nearly as concave as their B face. We have the GTR face, so it's freaking awesome, but I think the GTR faces really comes into play on the aggressive like 10.5 plus 24 or more aggressive than that. So yeah, if you guys don't know anything about Volk faces, you've got A face, B face, and C face. I believe that's how they categorize it.
Work does the same.
Yeah, Work does it as well. Except they have like an O face and A face. A face, and I don't remember exactly what they stand for.
One's for one will clear
big
large brakes and one won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for
I think it's O face that clears and A face not.
I think that I'm not sure. If you know the answer to this, leave it down in the comments. But with Volk, it's very easy. Your A face is the most shallow. Your B face gets more concave, and then your C face is like pretty concave. Yeah, and it looks awesome. Otherwise known as GTR face.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so let's go ahead and brush down. Let's put some water on it and see how it looks. It's a lot better than it was, you know?
Yeah, I don't think that it's gonna get much better than that.
I mean, it will if we use like, you know, serious scrubbing stuff and a pressure washer. But
do we need to? Because
no,
like
it'll be fine.
that stuff usually is gonna get pretty filthy within 500 miles anyways, you know?
Yeah, brake dust, road stuff, you know. So, all right, there you go.
So we'll set this aside for polishing.
Yeah, it needs to sit and dry. And let's do the face. So what we have here is some Eagle One Never Dull. If you guys have never seen this, it's like an aluminum type polish. You reach in, grab a piece, pull it off, and you know, start rubbing aggressively. Don't rub too fast, don't rub too slow, you know what I'm saying?
You know, just get it just right.
Yeah, you know, the right amount of rubbing.
You know.
I'm sure you'll know what that is.
They really appreciate when you, the wheels really appreciate when you rub just the right amount.
Yeah.
It shows.
They definitely do. So at the moment it looks kind of cloudy because this stuff is actually wet, but you can see that
It's already pulling a lot of garbage out.
Yeah, exactly. So hope you don't have curb rash to catch it, but you know, you just get in there and start rubbing.
We're also going to clean up our HREs with this aluminum polish.
Yeah, definitely useful for that.
That's pulling up the gunk behind the face pretty well.
Fortunately, I only really need to worry about like here, because that's the part you see, you know?
Yeah.
So underneath the bolts, I don't really care too much, but everywhere else, I definitely want it to be not terrible. And just a quick example for you, we'll run some here real quick, and then take your microfiber and rub through it. And
flossy.
It's looking good.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do these now with all of them.
All right.
Rub stuff with stuff.
We have rubbed the barrels. So as you can see, they definitely look a lot cleaner, but there should be a major caveat in this video in general. If you saw our intro video to when we picked these up, you'll know that we are planning on actually having the barrels powder coated. So you can see here there's some hard water spots we couldn't pull.
Yeah, and because wheels like this, they're raw aluminum.
Yeah.
You know, they're polished. They're not plated or anything like that. So water spots will form. The only way to get rid of this stuff is to use actual polish and like a buffer of some sort.
Yeah, some type of like...
Yeah. I have a buffing machine at work and we do a lot of like silver stuff there, and it will get rid of all this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically what you got to do, is just go straight to big buffer and make it happen.
Yeah, and I'm not really generally not worried about it because we are going to have these barrels powder coated and there is curb rash, so this isn't like really the finished spec, like ideal spec. We have some temporary tires we're going to throw on, so
this was
it's really not a big deal.
This was definitely to clean them up, make sure all the bolts are torqued correctly because they were taken apart before. Yeah. And make sure they're safe to drive on. And you know, we're going to reassemble them and make sure they're safe to drive on. Yeah, the big takeaway when we were taking them apart is that there wasn't really any Loctite on the bolts. So it had the mismatched hardware. That was peace of mind wise is just better. One wheel was torqued way past where it should be. Yeah. If it was torqued at all, and one of them was really loose. So yeah, it's definitely one of those things where if you get a set of like 2-piece wheels, do yourself the favor and take them apart and make sure stuff is correct, because you don't want to be, you know, driving down the street and have all your wheel something to consider though if you do decide to take apart your 2-piece wheels. I don't know what the perfect answer is for this, but definitely at the very least have your tires deflated if you plan to take them apart. I would still say have them off, just because stuff can happen. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what kind of pressure you can put on your barrels. Yeah, and you can while the tires on. Yeah. And if you deform them, then you can't get the faces back on, and your wheel is done. Yeah. So. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and reassemble these. That's Bushy right there. He's cute. He doesn't know what he's doing, but he's real adorable. He wants to eat. He's going to check for some food. Bushy butt. Pop up there. Come on, Bushy. Or just run off. Anyways, we're going to put these back together. Yeah. This is a valve stem. This is a valve stem. So we have already done the other 3 wheels, but we're going to show you how we basically put these back together. So this is one of the valve stems in that kit that we got. Let's get that out of the way. This is one of the valve stems that we got from Amazon. So far so good. So they use a 6mm hex in the back. You can just take it apart. What I found is better is to pull this little seal off, and then we're going to go ahead and seat that right in there. Otherwise it doesn't like to seat too nicely. And then we're going to put this in. And there we go. So then you take your 6mm hex and put the other side in. There we go. And you will have to actually hold this straight because you don't want this, you know, sideways or anything. And we'll tighten this up.
Torque spec on this is 9 foot-pounds. Obviously, you don't need to go super tight on something that has a rubber bushing
On both sides of it.
on both sides of it.
Super sealed.
Just something that needs to be able to be airtight, and that's it. You don't have to.
And how's it going for you?
I'm good.
Okay, cool. Alright. So as you can see, it's nice and installed, it's centered, and then, yeah.
You can even center just a little bit more. There we go. So from there,
Now we have to put the face in.
hand off. Now we just got to drop the face in, and it's really straightforward because there's really only one way to put these faces on.
There is actually, because of the valve stem hole right there.
There's a hole here that lines up with the valve stem. So basically, as carefully as possible.
You don't want to scratch your stuff.
Just feed that on. And then,
A little bit past that. There you go.
and slowly, just basically have to wiggle it so it'll.
Seats in place.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. And if there's a little gap, that's really not a big deal, because as you put the bolts in, it'll start to pull everything flush with the mounting surface.
So now we are flush.
So we have our little box of hardware here. And we're going to start by taking 2 bolts out, getting our blue Loctite.
Blue Loctite.
Blue Loctite. You don't want to red Loctite these. Squeezing this just so it comes out. Okay, so we're just going to get a bit on the threads, and then we're going to put one in, and our second one. There you go. Put it right there.
And then we're going to.
You have both?
I got one here. We're gonna basically secure these so that way we can put the wheel on its side without the face falling out.
Yeah, definitely don't want the face to fall out. That would be
Pretty crappy.
real unfortunate because these look fantastic. And
Yeah.
if that fell out, I'd be pretty upset too.
So
So I'm gonna put the, well, before we do that,
yeah,
actually, we're gonna
so
go
now
ahead
we're gonna drop the rest of the bolts
in place. Okay, so now we're gonna flip this face towards you. Gently. Yep. So you can see now we have access to the back sides of the bolts. So we're gonna go ahead, take our blue Loctite, and just get some on there. Some on there. And then from there, just start getting your nuts on. And then you're gonna repeat that process for the rest of them. So we're gonna put the Loctite on and get these hand tight, and then we will be right back with you.
Yep, so all the nuts are threaded onto the bolts. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start on the outside of the spoke. We're gonna start on basically the right side for every spoke, but we're gonna go in a star pattern. So we're gonna go here, here,
Here.
here, here, and here. And then we're gonna do the other side. Once that's all locked into place, then we're just gonna torque the inner ones because the face will already be seated on the barrel.
There's no reason to worry about it past that, honestly.
But it's very important that you start in a star pattern because you don't want to.
You want even torque distribution across the surface so you don't warp anything.
Yeah, exactly. So we will do that.
Oh, and for the record, we are torquing these to 22 foot-pounds.
Yeah, don't over torque. You will snap your bolts.
I've done that. Look up, you'll find a lot of resources on that good old internet. Whatever you have, it's not 22 to everything. 22 works for these. So we're gonna go ahead and torque these guys.
we're done.
Thankfully.
Definitely a big improvement. Obviously the wheel isn't perfect. There's a little bit of curb rash here and there. I think maybe long term we talked about it in the intro video. I think I might still go with powder coating the barrels in the future. I love the way the faces look.
The faces look fantastic.
I think that this whole color scheme works really well. It's very period correct.
Yeah, it is
so
definitely, because these came out around the same time as 350s. So
yeah, so I'm
not upset.
I'm not mad at it at all.
Yeah.
The main purpose of us disassembling the wheels was to get better valve stems on there that fit a lot better, and also just the peace of mind of knowing that the wheels were assembled properly.
Yeah, versus because we pulled 3 apart, and 3 of them were very, very loose.
One wheel was like majorly over torqued, and then one wheel was majorly under torqued. It's just don't want to be, I want to be able to push the Z
and not worry and not think about it.
Yeah, so now I feel good about how we've assembled these wheels. We'll get some tires on them, and then we'll do another video when we get them on. But let us know what you thought of the process.
Also, a quick side note: once you do get them together with some Loctite, let them sit for about 24 hours. Make sure.
Let the Loctites.
Set up and do the thing. You don't want to have anything go wrong with this process. Like,
True that.
Rushing is nice, but also safety is pretty cool.
No, it's definitely nice that we don't have to rush these projects. So
yeah,
it's great. But let us know what you thought of the process. Obviously, we could have done a better job cleaning the wheel, but it wasn't really a priority. The priority was the security, making sure that the wheels.
Yeah, making sure you weren't going to have to worry about this, have a face come down, problems that you don't want.
Especially since the wheels are going to be on spacers.
Yeah.
But leave a comment down below. Let us know what you thought of the process. If you have a set of Volk GT wheels yourself, maybe the GT-Cs, GTVs, GTS, SF Challenge is a GT wheel.
Yeah.
Or the Volk 83 is a similar style.
It is.
And if you like the video, please make sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one.
And we appreciate you guys.